It is Wednesday. That means we get to catch up with our buddy Josh Ward for a little Ward Wednesday. And Josh, it's game week. Tennessee takes on Virginia in just a matter of a couple of days.
Yeah, we get to see real football, and I know everybody's ready for it to happen. This has been a fun offseason, fun build-up because of expectations, and Tennessee's going to play for more this season than at least we've expected in conversation the last few years. So everybody's excited and everybody's ready.
What has been the story of the offseason? I mean, again, we talk about literally everything. Defense taking a step, the emergence of wide receivers after, Jalen Hyatt leaves. Obviously, Joe Milton this, Joe Milton that. I mean, Joe Milton's probably the answer. If I could take Joe Milton away, what would be the story of Tennessee's offseason?
I think it's about the program itself. Tennessee being back in a real state to be able to compete for championships. Tennessee being considered among the top programs in college football, because that just hasn't happened in a long time. Tennessee was very close in that 2015 to 2016 range, where the Vols were picked to win the East in 2016, and they were in the top 10 for a few weeks during that season. But it was such a short-lived conversation that it's almost like it never happened. This offseason brought a lot of conversation about Tennessee's program being back among the top, and there's more to be accomplished in trying to win championships. But I think it's the stabilization of the program with leadership, from Danny White as the AD to hiring Josh Heupel as the head coach, but then what Tennessee can truly build off last season.
You look at Virginia, and not a very good offense last year. Of course, had they cut their season short due to the tragedy up there that happened last November, and it's good to see them back out on the field. But not a very good offense. A lot of turnover on that offense. What are you expecting on Saturday for Tennessee and Virginia?
I think Tennessee is going to win with ease, and I think Tennessee will have a really good chance to build a lead early and then kind of control the game how it wants to from there. I'd be surprised if Virginia is able to find much offensive success with Tony Muskett coming in to take over at quarterback. I doubt that Virginia will be able to run the football with much success. If Tennessee is able to score early and Virginia is in a position where pretty soon it realizes we're going to have to throw the ball to find success, there might be a drive or two that could happen over 4 quarters. But, Eric, I'd just be really surprised if where Virginia is offensively, that it can come anywhere close to keeping up with Tennessee. And it's a season opener. It is a new offense with Joe Milton taking over and some changes on the offensive line and no Cooper Mays. So I'm not saying everything is going to be perfect, easy right away for Tennessee. There might be some drives where they make some mistakes. It's a 3 or 4 and out, and the defense gets another chance. But over 4 quarters, I think Tennessee is going to score a ton of points, and I don't think Virginia will score many at all.
In saying that, though, that FanDuel line here at the beginning of the week or here at the middle of the week, Tennessee 27.5-point favorites. Are you confident in Tennessee that much in week 1 with all the new pieces on offense to take the Vols?
It's a huge number, which does make me nervous when you talk about fourth quarter play, what can happen where you have backups in, and Tennessee could be up 44-10. And then all of a sudden Virginia has a late score among players that won't play a huge role as the season goes along, and you don't cover the line. But I would still, picking aside, pick Tennessee. My score prediction, I haven't come up with anything official, but it will have Tennessee winning by 28 plus. I can go ahead and promise you that. So, I think that line is about right, and it's a statement again to Tennessee. Virginia is a bottom of the ACC team. It'll maybe be the worst team in the conference this season, but by comparison, Tennessee is a bigger favorite against Virginia than Kentucky is against Ball State. USC beat San Jose State by 28 and was a 31-point favorite in that game. That's close to the line for Tennessee against an ACC team. That tells you something about Tennessee and also Virginia.
So things you do have locked in, because, again, we're just days away from the start of the kickoff, start of the football season. What's that Tennessee record? Who's those losses come to and why? Where do you have Tennessee after the Thanksgiving regular season finale game?
9-3 is my record prediction for Tennessee. My first statement on who the losses are against were Alabama, Georgia, and one of Florida, South Carolina, Texas A&M, or Kentucky.
That's such a cop-out, man. You got to pick one.
Exactly. I know that I'm
said
not
the same. I said the same thing.
Yeah,
so.
I know I'm not allowed to do it. So to pick one, I said, well, Texas A&M is probably the most likely game that I would choose. Although schedule-wise, we've talked on this show, I think, about how that does set up favorably for Tennessee. The Vols get 2 weeks to prepare for A&M, while A&M plays Alabama the week before. Kentucky is the one where the schedule flip is against Tennessee. Tennessee plays at Alabama, while Kentucky is off, getting ready to host Tennessee. And I don't think Florida's going to be a very good SEC team, but it is a road game, first SEC game, first real test of the season at night, and we don't know Cooper May's status for that game yet. So Florida cannot just be marked off immediately as an easy win. The South Carolina game last season proves that. But 9-3 is where I am. I also think all 12 games individually are winnable, and that includes the Georgia game. So Tennessee can for sure do better than 9-3. The odds makers have the line at 9.5 with 9 the juiced side, so the more likely side. But 10-2 is very much on the table. 11-1, I guess, is possible. That's just, you have to have a lot go your way to go 11-1 when Alabama and Georgia are both on the schedule.
What individual things are you looking for on Saturday? I mentioned on the podcast yesterday that I think this would be a great opportunity for the defense to kind of put on a show. I mean, I know it's week one and everything, but 4 new offensive linemen for Virginia, new quarterback, top 4 receivers from last year are gone. There's some opportunity there, and wouldn't it be great against, and sure, it's not a group of 5 or anything. It's a Power 5 program, but not a very good one, for your defense to go out there and shine a little bit in week one. So I'm going to be looking for the defense and, of course, the offensive line rotation, because that just fascinates me. What are some of the things you're going to be looking for on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm a little intrigued by the running back rotation early in the game to see Jalen Wright, Jabari Small usage for those guys, because those are your top 2 players. Totally agree on the offensive line. But my initial reaction was the defensive side as well. The guys on the edge, what kind of pressure can they get? You want to see them have success. You want to see the defensive line have really good success overall, considering their potential, I think, with an Omar Norman-Lott coming in and some of the younger guys on the edge that we've talked about, and the overall rotation of players that they have. And then I would say some playmaking behind them, the linebackers and members of the secondary making plays, because we can spend as much time as we want during the summer months and during August talking about they have all these guys in the secondary and they have more players to compete against one another. They still have to go out and make plays, right? And they have to show that they are going to be an improved unit, which I think there's a very good chance. But if the defense shows signs of problem against Virginia, well, then that could set up concern. If they were able to go make some plays, that's something to build on 2 weeks later when you play Florida and then everybody else after that.
All right, this is our last Ward Wednesday before the start of the regular season, so tell us something that we can look back on in November and say, Josh Ward said before the season. Tell us something that we don't know right now that's going to happen.
Oh, that's good. Actually, can I do this with you? So I have discovered recently that I'm a bit of a hypocrite, which is probably not the first time, but here's why. Okay. So the first week of the year, first week of January, on Josh and Swain, we had to make a bold prediction for Tennessee sports in 2023. And do you know what my bold prediction was that week? That Tennessee would beat Georgia in football this year. But you heard my record prediction just a few minutes ago during the segment.
Yeah,
and you asked me to pick my losses, and Georgia was one of them. So am I correct? Am I a hypocrite? Should I go back to saying they're going to beat Georgia? Because there's also very little to be lost, right? Like if Tennessee doesn't win that game, I don't think anybody's going to say, well, Josh Ward picked him. But if Tennessee wins, then we can replay this segment and say, Josh picked Tennessee to beat Georgia way back before the season began.
It's pretty hypocritical, yes. But
okay.
You reserve the right to be bold, especially like on January 1st. So yeah. I don't think anybody's going to hold that against you. And you're right. Like it's like, what does Josh Ward have to lose if he says Tennessee's going to beat Georgia?
Yeah. Also,
if Tennessee loses to Georgia, they're not going to be like, God, what an idiot. I mean, Georgia's the best team in the country.
Yeah. I mean, because on the flip side, last year I did pick Tennessee to go 8-4, and they did much better than I expected. But at the same time, we had to come up with who are the 4 losses, and one of them was South Carolina. And everybody at the time said, I'm not going to lose to South Carolina. Didn't you see last year's game? So I actually got that right. And my record prediction was still way off. So I could say 9-3 and they beat Georgia. How about that one? That would be a bold prediction. But that's not going to help you. I think at the end of the season, we're going to look back and say Cameron Seldon ended up making a number of big plays for Tennessee on the offensive side. The running back position starts with Jalen Wright and Jabari Small, the two older guys, but injury can happen. But I also think that Seldon has so much ability and has impressed coaches that at some point he will impress on special teams and or the offense, and we'll be talking about Seldon having a nice freshman year and something to build on heading into next year.
He is Josh Ward, the co-host of Josh and Swain on 99.1 The Sports Animal, noon to 3 weekdays on The Sports Animal. Josh, you got the Josh and Swain newsletter coming out 8:45 on Friday morning. What else you got coming up the rest of the week?
Yep, free to subscribe to the newsletter. Appreciate everybody that has done so just once a week into your inbox. And then other than that, it's mostly all football, talking about what's going to happen on Saturday with a little recruiting mixed in, a little basketball. So, season's here. Everybody is ready, just like you and everybody listening.
Appreciate it as always, Josh. Thanks so much.
You got it. Thanks, Eric.